first gonna rent me the space. Then when he found out what it was, which he knew what it was, but he said he didn't, then he said, I'm not gonna rent to you. And it's hard to find a location that meets all the requirements.
Well,
He said, I'll tell you what, I'll sell you the shopping center, but I'm not gonna rent to you.
That's okay.
that's okay.
So I ended up buying the shopping center. Not because I wanted to buy it,
Yeah, but
but
that was your
I
best
needed the
choice.
location,
Yeah.
right? And I had been looking, I had probably written 25, 30 offers.
Wow.
10 of them, at least half of them accepted, then came back wanting more money. Oh, you're gonna get rich, you got a dispensary? I wanna be paid more. And I, of course, I cuss them up one side and down the other. Talk about their whole generation and their family and slave masters and everything else. They say, I think you should leave now. Ready?
Keep some money.
All right, welcome back. We were just talking about, we were reminiscing 2008. So everybody got your credit right. It's been a long time. You should be in good shape. Not buying houses. You should be buying multifamily so that you can have some income and give your kids somewhere to stay so they ain't staying with you, not paying you no rent. So let's finish up. Where we at with that?
You're right.
We're talking about the mortgage market.
Yeah, you know, actually, man, once they started taking a bunch of people to jail for all that stuff, and I saw what was happening, and
Time to go.
I saw you know, the volatility of what was happening, I switched careers. Still in real estate, but now I do property tax appeal services. So people like yourself, yeah, you know, like anyone that owns any type of commercial real estate,
Yeah.
regardless of what type it is, I do everything from hospitals to casinos to.
To get the rate lowered so their taxes less.
Yes.
Okay.
So I run our Houston office. I work for a global company, Canada, UK, and the U.S., and we're the second largest in the U.S. And now I'm running a Houston office for this company.
Nice.
So once I realized what was going on with the mortgage industry, I got out, and now
Yeah.
it's, 16 years later.
Right.
Man,
Do you know anybody that went to jail?
do I?
I know somebody.
Well,
too.
how
I
far
can't
back
visit.
do you want me to go? Okay.
And
No,
are they out? Are they out? They doing okay now?
Yeah, you know, most people, if they did go to jail, it was just for a short while, or they got on probation or something like that. You know, trust me when I tell you, I got a phone call too, because
Yeah.
there were certain deals that I had did that I passed up, but the paper originally came to me.
Right.
And once I know when shit stinks, I'm not gonna mess with this one.
That's right.
And I'm like, nah, I'm not touching this one.
Yeah.
So I passed it on to other people.
Right.
And apparently through that process,
Right.
they got caught up.
Right.
But they were asking me about it. And I'm like,
Yeah, why'd you pass?
you're right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't
And
throwing
they
nobody
did.
under the bus though.
Right.
It's just,
Okay.
it stinks to me. I ain't touching it.
So family, you got kids?
I do. So I'm married to his daughter, his
Okay.
oldest daughter, Crystal, and we got a 13-year-old son.
Yeah.
You know, he has autism, but he's doing great.
Okay.
You know, super athletic, you know, from both sides of the family.
I
Right.
don't know about that one, man.
Whatever, man.
Both sides. Grandfather. But yeah, your dad, that was good. They were good people,
Nah,
good
but you-
athletes in his family.
And
I've
he
been playing with him.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
know.
son-in-law.
still won't get on the court with me, but that's okay. You know.
I know why.
Would you say it's gonna be going on the other side?
Yeah, he know better. He really know better.
No, but 13-year-old son, man, doing extremely well. Just made the swim team. Doing good with that. So you know, I'm blessed beyond.
Any regrets about leaving Chicago? Or was it one of the best things you ever did?
Best thing. You know, I still got friends and family that I still, every Labor Day, everybody that I grew up with that, you know,
Still here.
and still here or, you know, that's doing well for themselves for the most part. We get together every year, Labor Day weekend, and we just barbecue, just hang out, just reminisce. And,
Yeah.
you know, it started off with about maybe 12 to 13 of us.
Yeah.
Now with growing families and everybody starting to participate. The last time we was at my buddy's house in Dallas, it was a good 50 people that was there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
you know.
All right. Right on.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Tell us your story.
Hi, my name is John Mion. I consider myself a Texiana.
A Texian?
A Texiana. I was born in Houston, but
Okay.
raised in Louisiana.
Okay.
Oh, I was trying to figure out, what is that?
Yeah, Texiana.
What part of Louisiana was you claiming?
I thought that was a disease or something. What?
Opelousas.
Appaloosas, okay?
Oh, yeah, so my
Okay.
dad's family is
Real
all from
Louisiana right
Opelousas.
there.
St. Landry Parish, my dad's from there, and my mother's from, Texas, your family side from Texas.
Okay,
So I got the best of both worlds under six, area.
yeah,
Yeah, my background, is real estate and construction. I got it on both sides. On my mother's side, I was blessed that my great-grandmother helped started the role of real estate on our side.
okay.
And on my dad's side, it was always construction and cement.
Yeah.
Cement,
Yeah.
concrete,
Yeah,
okay.
finishes. My father and his brothers, uncles, and my, and their cousins, they helped build some of the tallest buildings in Houston.
Wow,
They built the first several neighborhoods of Sugar Land, Missouri City.
Yeah.
It's like suburban areas of Houston.
okay,
So they built some of the first neighborhoods out there.
okay.
So I got a background in real estate. For the last 25 years, and honestly, I didn't actually want to get in real estate. Because I grew up in, I was around it, I wanted to go
Yeah.
be an entrepreneur, do other things.
Yeah,
But it was a passion. This and hotels and things was a passion of mine. So I've been in this profession about 25 years.
so what exactly do you do every day?
We, under MVG Homes and Mayon Builder Group, we acquire the land, develop the land, and build the product, the home, and
Nice.
sell it.
Nice,
2000, we was building for ourselves. 2008 came.
yeah.
I had
You
mentor.
experienced that too, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
None of us got out of line.
I did.
Man, you know what's funny? I mean, I actually lived it. Now I can tell the next generation what, because I remember.
That's right, every 10 years.
Yeah, 'cause I remember my mentors telling me and my mother telling us about the 80s and the
Yeah,
30s, and I heard my grandma
yeah.
talking about these different time periods.
Yep,
I really thought my mother lied to me and told me that money don't grow on trees. Because, man, there was some money to be made.
Yeah.
Because I knew it.
yeah,
I mean, it was like second nature to us.
yeah,
But 2008 came, I really thought it was going to last. So, it's going to last about 6 months, maybe a year.
Yeah.
I didn't going to last that long. And, man, we was hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
I don't want to broke in this at least 7 times in this place.
yeah,
You know.
yep,
I keep very little money in the bank is mostly in real estate,
mm-hmm,
you know. And, man, over a period of time, we've been picking up things. We have moved into a brokerage. We have a full real estate brokerage company. We have East Corporate Homes that does corporate leasing. I actually survived off of leasebacks
wow,
and corporate housing. Corporate
Okay.
housing and leasebacks let me survive through 2008. you
that's
know.
because of the cash flow?
Yeah, so we would go in and buy the model homes.
Okay.
So from the big buildings.
Yeah, and they'd lease them back from you
And
until they
leased
sold
it
out
back,
the
and their
development?
checks came on time every month.
Yeah,
And that was a small portion of our business.
yeah,
And the large portion of our business was down the tank now.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't, I don't care
Give it
how,
away.
you couldn't get a loan done at all.
yeah,
So, but I'm glad I went through it. It taught me a lot.
yeah,
And it taught me to cut out the variables and own.
Mm-hmm.
And over a period of time, so 2008 came, I survived during the 2008 crash by leasing back the houses. I got a check every month, take care of our families all. And from there, we started building for other buildings.
okay,
And from there, we kept our trades, for a long time.
yeah,
And over a period of time, we kind of went back and started building for ourselves. And because I did go through that 2008 crash time period, what kind of spooked everything was the pandemic.
yeah,
It reminded me of that time period
Yeah.
that,
yeah.
I
Sit
had
on
no
the sideline,
control.
Yeah,
I had nothing to do with this thing,
yep,
but I had no control.
Yeah.
Too many variables in it.
yep.
So I wanted to cut out the different variables in there
How'd you do that?
by having things in-house where we was using trades. I mean, the whole concept of the business,
Yeah.
and when I look back and I'm hearing all the stories and things of my grandfather, my father, and my grandfather, I realized construction haven't really changed in 100 years.
That's right.
Too much. You got some different products, you got different ways of building, but it
Yeah.
ain't really changed too much.
You still need
Especially on the
people.
residential multifamily side, ain't really
Yep.
changed too
Yep.
much. So I started off and said, okay, all the variables is I have no control of material.
That's right.
2000, I mean, the pandemic shows us that the big guys had all the materials, the wood, costs.
Yeah.
You can't control it.
That's right.
You're the lowest man.
Yeah.
So I went from wood, and now we're building with light gauge steel. We deal with a aircrete material cladding on our side. I wanted to do something, so I asked God, what can I do?
Yeah,
I asked God, what can I do to change this? Because I don't want
With
the pandemic, you know,
Yep.
on everything. And God say, if you go this route, you'll be the largest black people. But you'll always still be trying to chase the big guy.
yeah.
If you go this route, I want you to go down, you'll be the largest.
Mm.
And that's what I'm after right now.
Wow.
And that's when he brought me these different products, green products.
Yeah.
So on the light gauge steel side, there's no middleman. We're going from not just using light gauge steel, whether we're gonna manufacture ourselves.
Okay.
There's no middleman between us.
Right.
No one can tell me how.
Yeah.
So now you call me, you want to build apartments, I have a product.
Yeah.
There's no middleman between us.
Yeah.
We can do business together. The aircrete material on the side is, right now, it's about 100 years old. It was invented about 100 years ago, by the 1920s in Europe. Most of Europe, South America use it.
What is it called?
Aircrete.
Aircrete.
What is it exactly?
They actually build whole houses out of it. You actually don't need wood, steel, or anything.
Yeah.
They build the whole home out of it in Europe. It's a concrete material,
Okay.
but it's actually 80% lighter than concrete.
Okay.
You can use them from cladding from the outside. You can stucco it, put bricks, stones,
Right.
and anything.
Yeah.
It's fire. So I wanted something
Fire
that was fire resistant, water resistant,
Yeah.
bug resistance, mold
I
resistant.
think I've seen some homes like those townhouses in Vegas, not Vegas, but in Arizona. I had a friend who did something like that. They look stone, kind of like that look with the right.
Right.
Leonard Thompson.
Yeah, I know.
Leonard, he built some condos right there. And he said that he was saying that he kind of rung the bell what you're saying there, but it was cost effective, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It was cost effective.
No, so
What is the material made from? Plastic or something?
no. It's made out of concrete. It has some kind of mesh material inside of it, but it's light. It's very,
Lightweight.
very light. It's very light, and it's easy to use and train. But the benefits from it, so it's great benefits from it. So we already pushed that with another company that's, again, we cut out the middleman. It's gonna be getting it directly from,
Your manufacturer.
correct.
So I build with SIP panels.
Okay.
Structure insulated panels.
Yeah.
I would, if they said, Frank, you have to build this with stick built, I won't build it.
Right.
I'd walk away from the job. And I've been using structural insulated panels for probably 20 years.
Oh, wow.
The other thing is I use tankless hot water heaters.
Yes.
When I first started 20 years ago, trying to force the government to let me use the tankless, they made me plumb for a water heater anyway. So I had the tankless, and then I had all the plumbing set for the water heater.
Is that right? Did you never
Just
use?
crazy, never used.
Wow.
So we build zero energy houses, zero energy apartments. We have to bring in the fresh air. That's how tight the houses are.
Yeah. That's it right there. And that right there will give us more control.
Yeah.
Because right now, the problem is you have a lot of us in the construction space, in my father's and grandfather's time period, we're missing out. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really see us that much.
No.
We may be the owner of a company or something, but we actually don't control the construction itself
Yep.
anymore.
On the material.
The materials,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any big companies that are black-owned material company you can call and say, hey, I need something, or
Right.
anything,
Right.
you know. So that's the base of it there. The green products, we now have internal permitting team. We now have electric, HVAC, and plumbing internal.
In-house?
In-house.
Wow.
And my superintendents, a lot of people kept telling me, to me, I believe that they just lied. I think the industry just put out lies. So they keep everybody right there in the space. Why can't we use like AC? I've been saying it for a while.
Yeah.
I believe now it's time, the cost of wood, it's time
Yeah.
to start using it.
What's your price per stick? How does it compare?
Compared, it's really, the price point is close there or under.
Okay.
It takes 2 to 3 weeks in our town, our local area, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to frame a home, a stick wood.
Okay.
It takes two to 3 days
And light gauge?
on like a stick because it's pre-fabricated factory already.
Right, okay.
So when it comes to the job site, all they do is put in the walls,
Right,
boom, and it's done.
right,
Structurally wise, it's gonna outlast any stick home.
right.
You
What
know,
about your interior walls? What are you doing with that? You building wood or you,
no wood,
no wood on the job?
no wood on the job.
So your truss all light gauge? The
Everything.
whole house?
The whole house.
Okay,
Up to 24-inch gauge, 18-inch gauge. You can do, and I wanted something that I can go into commercial.
so I was gonna say, it's like.
So 3 major products I use. I can build a 1,500 square foot house, or I can build a 4-story complex, multi-family apartment.
Mhm.
I wanted to use some products that I can go commercial, however I wanted to,
Yeah,
or at
Nice.
home. And pretty soon, I'm hoping the next year, we will actually have our own machines, own warehouse, where
Wow.
we're manufacturing ourselves and tag teaming with different people across the country.
how many
There you go, man.
houses, how many houses are you doing?
Right there.
For our sales, we've been doing about 20, well, in our lifetime, me and my team have done about 5,000 homes.
Okay,
But for under our new brand company,
Right.
I have a company that started about 3 years ago, one of them. I just started branding wise, started about 3 years ago. Got like 100 houses out of it, but right now we in a scale space, to
right,
scale,
okay.
you know. So I done just different things as such in-house. We also, another thing of the variable was, we didn't control no money.
Yeah, how
There's
you
no
doing, how
bankers,
you
I
dealing
mean-
with that now?
So.
You found some money?
So
Cost
right
of
now,
cash.
so right now we have connected capital fund, where, you know, we start our own fund, our own money, our own process, because, again, they controlled everything.
Right,
And I didn't want to be controlled no more
So-
in other spaces.
so you have a fund that funds you, or you
Both.
submit to the fund?
No. Collaboration partners, right now, I can build, right now, if anybody came to us at a job, we can go build 2,000 home master plan community. We'll build commercial. We can help you lease, buy, sell, manage houses, everything.
Okay. So you
With our
provide the
collaboration
service,
partners.
turnkey service,
Yes,
to
Construction
any of us who
services.
wants to be a developer or a builder.
there you go.
Okay, I
Because
got
we
you.
did it for the big boys for years.
Right,
Not really, we survived it, but we
Yeah.
didn't really make no real money.
right.
So-
And we seen all their mistakes. If people really knew how they build houses,
Yeah,
I mean, the stick wood.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you really have,
Slap
I mean,
together.
you gotta give a
It's
frame,
on
a
the crews, man.
good framing crew, you
Yeah.
gotta give them someone, I mean, they basically them engineer.
Yeah,
They're going off the plans, but put it together stick, I mean, it takes a lot.
I see, I mean,
You know.
in my new, I'm in the new development area. And homes, I mean, I see them framing houses, I ride by, go on my jog in the morning, I come by the next morning, 5 o'clock, they got the frame up on the house, man. And the next thing I know, they stick the insulation on the top, the roof, the plywood, and that insulation, and
Yep.
a week later, look, they got this house up in, I mean, this is less than 7 days up there. I mean, it's framed up and everything, I said, my goodness. But this is, you know, but this is stick, whatever.
Correct, and so someone said something about the 30-year, 20-year, another portion of that is the houses don't last.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that.
The houses
because-
don't last, but with this point, the reason why the United States do not want to move with light gauge steel or more green products, they talk about it, but they really don't want it.
Same way with the cars, right?
Right.
But they
Right.
ain't
Did
getting
they
no
tell-
cars that's gonna last forever.
Right.
The thing that kills me about the commercial, you see this new car commercial. It's the same car I got. Oh, but they put a new stereo in it. So I'm gonna go out and pay $10,000 more for a stereo when I can go to the stereo place.
You gonna pay
But that's the
$50,000.
mentality of the people, right? Yeah, they done dumbed us down.
And my thing is too, man, you speak of car, I say, talking about everybody to go electric, make them affordable.
Yeah. Well,
You
you see
look
what
at your
Elon Musk just
price?
did, right?
Huh?
They took away his bonus, so he lowered the price of his car.
Yeah, we had to. Crazy. But a question about, so if I say I got, 5 acres, I want to attract, they want to have it developed, I want to track homes in there, affordable track homes, okay? So you'll come in and do the prints, lay the irrigation system and all that stuff for the sewer system, roads, curb and gutter,
100% turnkey.
10% turnkey.
Correct. And another thing that we just added on was a blessing is a big factor, cost factor, was architectural and engineer designs, and
Yeah.
designing house and things, that costs a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, we was taking plans and just changing elevations, they couldn't keep
Yeah.
duplicating,
Yeah.
because it costs so much.
Yeah.
If you're trying to compete with other buildings, it costs a
Yeah.
lot. Now we have an internal now.
Yeah,
So like
you-
designing plans, so if you call me, you don't care where you located, on the design portion, we now have an inside team that you just give us a survey, and they will do the land plats, site plans, design, takeoffs, everything, you know.
I have some family property that wanted, it was kind of rural in the suburban area, and I wanted to do something with it. My son said, well, I'm gonna put a football stadium, man, dude, we're gonna make this, little piece of property, put about 4 homes in there, you know?
Right.
Make a little
Money.
cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
and then they'll pay, you can. build
On
your-
5 acres,
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what the local
Well, it's a site-
restrictions on this,
it is residential, so some of it's on commercial across the street, some is residential, but it's out by the Air Force Base, and there are a lot of wooded plots out there, that people actually, I think, colonels and lieutenant colonel, they want to stay out of the city, but they got, they buy these 5-acre plots. And
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Some are homes, some are putting up their business, a couple of little CrossFit places, it's his own residential. There's another guy that has got about 7 acres, but he got a equipment rental where you can rent this, but all this in the same area, a little bit north, and it's about 2 miles down the road, the Air Force Base, the Little Rock Air Force Base. So it's zoned for residential as well as commercial, yeah, so.
Flexible in the rurals.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't want to go in the city, so they build a Walmart out there, so whatever Walmart is gonna be.
It's
coming.
It's coming.
Rooftops will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the house, I see, building, I see, home differently. And now, our first generation houses, our second generation homes were not, the only time we hooked up to the city is for sewer, nothing for water.
Really? You doing
No
wells?
water, no wells,
Where you getting the water from?
a water generator.
Really?
Water generator. I'm trying to think, I can't think, my mind right now.
The water from generating the water from the air?
Yes.
I heard about that.
It's real, it's working. The black man out of San Antonio.
Really?
He was in the military and all, and he invented his water generator. And
So we're not talking about rainwater.
no,
Just
no,
take it out
but
the air.
the rain, but
So it's
You
processed.
talking-
because we are gonna take the
you
rain,
mentioned- you mentioned the
because we
atmosphere.
are gonna take the rainwater off the roof line
Right,
to flush the toilets and water grass, things that such.
yeah.
But the drinking water, I feel like this, if you look at a third world country, people packing water and things that such
Yeah.
from wells and all,
Yeah.
it's the same thing we do. We go in and we have to pack that water, bottles of water. There's no reason why you cannot go in your house, turn the faucet on and drink the water locally.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't. And because, I'm gonna say 80–90% of the water underground and stuff is, leaked with all kind of fluids and, all kind of chemicals and stuff.
Or with the fracking and everything.
Right,
that's
I mean,
going
it's
on.
just not enough water. Even Texas, Houston have an issue. Texas overall, everybody having an issue with water. They're not really clogged, they're not really saying it, but they have an issue with water.
But you
And,
also gotta think about the lead pipes that's been,
Oh,
especially if you're talking about old areas, most of these, water lines, 40, 50, 100 years old.
yeah,
And then if you're doing any type of renovation or new builds, if you're not changing out that infrastructure.
You ain't changing nothing.
Right.
it'll cost you
then-
all my leg.
Right.
Now, the electricity,
Check it out.
is what, solar power, electric co-op?
We're working, so the
Wind-
second generation
wind power,
neighborhoods. So what I'm looking at is across the country should be where between 50 house communities up to 250 homes. They should be in the middle of the city, off the grid. Right?
Yeah.
And I found that, from my research, I found that families, another portion is the utilities are high.
Yeah,
When the utilities are high, and then you got the note, and then you got the food costs
And
more
property
high.
tax.
And property tax and everything else, they
And
just
insurance,
cannot afford it,
and
and
insurance,
things how it
yeah.
happens,
Right.
they just cannot afford it.
So are you familiar with the disposal services? They have a contract with the government. the local government,
Yeah.
which requires that if you're living in a house, then you have to pay a trash bill,
Yeah.
right? So you have to pay that $15 or $50.
Yeah, we used to burn in the back, like,
Yeah.
put in the
You
back.
can't burn no more.
No, you can't burn.
No, them days is gone.
Burn
And
bad.
then with Nevada Power, so I have a house in the Dominican Republic. I convert my power that I get from the energy company
Yes.
there
Mhm.
and store it in my batteries.
Right.
Then I have a converter that I run on my side for 18 hours a day. So during the slowest time, I use their power to charge my batteries. And then for 18 hours of the difference, then I run my batteries, so I pay them, my bill went from US dollars, call it $100 to $10. We can do the same thing here, but we can't. They won't let you. So
And
we
in
can't,
regular
I
states,
can't
you
be,
can.
It's
I
about the
cannot-
regulation
I
commission, isn't
can't
it?
disconnect
Yeah.
my Nevada energy
Really?
and run my own power.
It says that they
Okay,
said-
so.
Regulators,
Texas,
the
we
regulation
can.
commission.
You can in Texas.
Yes, you can.
You're right,
It's
right,
like
you
regular
can right
state.
now, and they doing, there's some companies, I don't know, I should say the big boy names, but there's some companies out there, they doing some real good stuff now, and the government's paying them hell of cash
I'm gonna tell you,
doing that.
Oklahoma, I'm sure Texas, wind power is big.
Yeah,
Wind power,
yeah, yeah.
solar
Texas
power,
does there.
but the wind power, I mean, they're selling the energy to other companies. In fact, they have these turbines in some of the areas in Oklahoma that power for the whole community.
Yeah.
They don't have any electric bills. They're selling power, the excess to the electric co-ops who sell it to the people in the city.
Right,
Yeah.
that'd be nice too.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of commercial developers that are starting to look into wind power
Wind power.
and solar power.
Yeah.
So, like now, in Texas, there's laws that say that I don't care if you put $1 million worth of infrastructure on there for solar power, wind power, whatever, that's not going to increase your tax base. So a lot of people are afraid that, you're doing this,
For nothing.
added
For nothing.
valuation to your property,
Yeah.
which will help you sell it for more because it's gonna, give you a more market value.
Until I don't want it on the house.
Right.
Or you tell me you still got, you paying on it,
Oh,
and
no,
I
yeah.
gotta assume your payment, I
Right.
don't want that either.
Yeah,
Right.
or your POA,
Yeah.
POA, if you got a POA, some of them, you want your panel solar, you got to put them on the back of your house.
Yeah.
Or your sun,
Let me tell you
it's a lot of
something about
things.
solar, and I put solar on my
I thought
apartments.
about it. I mean,
So I argue, even though I do it, but I argue against putting it on my house, and I haven't done that. Because with solar, the utilities control the rate, or utility commission, right?
Right, exactly.
But the utilities are guaranteed they ain't gonna lose no money,
So-
first of all.
Right.
So when they raise their rate, if our rate is 10 cents, right? And I got panels, and I got a 10-year deal on it, right? And the rate goes up every other year, then the way that I see it, my bill, I should save 10% every other year. But that's not necessarily the case, because you pay by kilowatt, right? So, in the desert, if you get this much dirt on your panel, it's not gonna be efficient.
Right.
And guess what they don't do? Nobody cleans panels. And I've said for 10 years, I should start, or somebody should start a business cleaning panels. Even if you got one of them little cherry pickers things
Yeah,
that go
yeah.
up, you got your
Pressure
little
washer.
pressure washer with your squeegee. Man, that
It's
is a
business.
gold mine.
Yeah.
30 minutes of work,
30 minutes worth of work. And now, once you get one in them
boom
communities,
you do them all.
Yeah, well, boom truck, all it would take, a boom truck and a pressure washer.
but don't nobody clean them. We don't clean ours at apartments. You know what I mean? I'm telling, because I know I see.
Guilty
and I'm-
yourself, huh?
Yeah, guilty as charged.
But I mean, as they say, invention is the mother of necessity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and even with wind power, like in Texas, we had freezes.
Yeah.
Well, when
Yeah.
those turbines get iced up, they stop working.
Yeah.
Or if you just have like in the desert, whatever, where you don't have a whole lot of wind that cannot churn them out,
Yeah.
you have that issue as well. So you almost need your traditional energy in all cases as a backup.
That's
And
what
you
that
can-
gas
but-
guy from Texas, what's his name? The two brothers, one of them died. The Republicans, right? They control all the oil in the ground or
Yeah.
the natural gas.
Natural gas,
Yeah.
Jerry Jones was with them for a while too, because they got rich with it, but, Boone Pickens, as you know, is
Yeah.
a big OSU alumni. He started that program up at Oklahoma State with the wind energy and all, and there's a lot of young men who are getting into it, but I'm told it's big in Oklahoma, but the wind blows it off on Kansas all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a tornado alley.
It's
So
definitely-
a whole lot of wind goes through there.
So well, that's why it's so big up there. So they're selling it, they're selling energy. They're getting rich and selling wind energy. I guess it just depends on the geographical region that you actually live in, depending on the turbines and all. Now, also too, as you were talking about the panels, if you're in one of those areas where you have a lot of trees, that's something
Yeah,
that's
you
another.
don't get the sun.
You
Yeah.
don't get the sun.
Or cold weather where you get snow and
Oh,
stuff
snow,
like that, where it's
exactly.
gonna block it, so,
Yeah.
you know, there's some
And
variance.
let's not forget about the propane, that's what we're looking to now, right now.
Yeah, it's
Propane.
definitely a cheaper option.
Propane, like 50,000 gallon propane tanks, power, the solar panels.
Oh, okay.
But now, like, you can do that for the whole node. So right now for Texas, some guys, they're doing some big things. Comcast is, going to court and things, they're trying to stop certain things. They're actually in court now, but what they're doing is, they're taking the gas lines, they're digging the trench line for gas, and they're throwing the fiber optic wire in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing those in
Fighting
together.
cops.
And they put those in there, and in the rural areas,
The fiber optic,
and they putting the gas
Putting
lines
everything
in
in
there,
line.
and they put all that
In
in
the
there,
trench.
and then they turn around and build a whole neighborhood.
around there.
They sells. They build a whole neighborhood out, and the government give them this ridiculous money. I mean, this unbelievable money to keep doing and sharing things, and they are becoming their own utility.
Let me ask you a question. As an entrepreneur, you consider yourself an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
All right. Tell me the good and the bad about being an entrepreneur. And is it lonely? Do sometimes you sit down and say, God damn it, I don't know why I'm still doing this or why, but there are some benefits. So people see what they see, right? Every great athlete, oh, I mean, he just made it. No, they ain't see all the years, right? As an entrepreneur,
To get there.
as an
Body
entrepreneur,
aches.
I know it ain't easy. So tell us about some, just what you think and how, like you say, you went through 2008, you debt adverse. So you say, I need to do some things to protect myself, because if not, every day I leave home, I gotta put my balls in the middle of the road and hope nobody run over them, basically, right?
Right.
So share some of that with us.
Being an entrepreneur is a lonely road. I truly believe. What happens is sometimes is, if you're married or your family or your friends are around you, may not understand what you're going through and what you need, and sometimes they can't help you. It is a lonely road, but it's the only thing that I've seen that you can, the sky is the limit for you. It all depends on how you do it. And you have to have, for me, God has been a big factor.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we're doing now, if I would have done this 20 years ago, man, I mean, kind of like, where would I be at?
You probably gave up.
Yeah. The bad part, there's no bad part. I don't consider it bad to be entrepreneur.
Test and trials.
I consider it been tough. It's just
Tough
tough.
enough to almost kill you.
Oh, you were told to reach yourself, like, I can't take it no more. But I don't consider it bad. I just think it's very tough. I mean, you can do it. And it's freedom.
Yeah,
I look at it as freedom.
yeah.
It's straight up freedom. Freedom for not just my kids, but my great grandkids.
Yeah.
I do what I do now because a great grandmother thought of me. I never knew it.
Yeah.
She passed way before I even thought. My mother was young.
Yeah,
I wasn't even thought of.
yeah,
And I do what I do there for now.
right.
And because I understand this entrepreneur side on both sides, and she was a black woman in East Texas, Palestine area, owning a hotel.
Wow. What year was that?
In the 40s.
Yeah.
Wow.
She one of my, and that's how
And
My
she
mother
was
got
black?
to Houston, black,
Yeah.
Not mixed, black?
black.
All right, go ahead on then.
On the other side, she was black. And she didn't like farming, I mean, cause what I was told, she didn't like nothing about no farming or nothing. She done that. She wanted a better life for my grandmother, and so she sold some money to her. They scraped or something, she sold money to something. They took the train to Houston. We don't know why she didn't buy a hotel, but what she did was buy properties. And she rented them out like, I guess now we call them bed and breakfast, but like order rooms. And that's where black folks live. You know, you got the 5th Ward, 3rd Ward. There's only so many places you can go in Houston.
Right.
And she bought homes like that such, led to my grandmother, to my mother in banking, and to myself.
You know, I heard something, this is about, I've been from living in the Memphis and St. Louis area, a lot of the musicians who used to travel down south to Texas and places like that, they couldn't stay in white hotels.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to stay in places like the boarding houses and stuff like that.
All part of the Green Book.
Oh, man.
The Green Book,
Green
yeah,
Book.
yeah, but so,
That's
I
crazy.
can see how that, your grandmother being an entrepreneur with a hotel, you have to have someplace to stay, but,
Yeah,
I've even heard of people like Billie Holiday had to sleep in the car.
yeah.
Yeah, because most of her band was white, you know, she slept in the car, so at some of the venues and stuff she had to play down in Georgia, places like that.
Challenging yourself. I think sometimes entrepreneurship, people think they can see the, like you say, the greater side, you know,
Glitz and
the
glam.
the glam of it. You got to challenge yourself. You got to read. You got to be praying, and you got to get out your own way.
Yeah,
And you have to believe. The problem is faith. I don't care if the person believes in God or not. They have to believe it can be done.
that's right.
So many years they told us electric cars, it's just cost too much, it's not gonna work.
Yep.
It told us, and somebody said, no, I'm about to make it work.
Yep.
And on top of that, I'm gonna make a battery. Yeah, and I'm gonna make a car, can't nobody fix it, do nothing
That's
with
right.
it. You know, you gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You must believe in yourself. Another entrepreneur thing that I found that was hard, you can't tell everybody.
Yeah.
Can't save everybody either.
Oh, save. That's a good one.
No, you can't
Mouthful,
save.
brother.
No
You
matter how
can't tell
hard you
everybody what
try.
your plan is, and
That's
you
right.
can't save
Yeah,
it.
mouthful.
I better put it in my book. Because you can't say, man, they would drain you. They'd drain you.
Because you want to bring people along with you on that journey.
That's me,
Yeah.
yeah.
You especially like, you know, people that are close to you, whether it's your kids or
Yeah.
brother, sister,
Yeah.
you know, or a significant other, whatever the case
I
may be.
agree.
You want them to be part of that journey because no one wants to do this alone.
Right.
You know,
Right.
even as athletes, you know, your coach, your trainers,
Your team.
you know, your team,
Yeah.
you know, it's a journey that you can share with others that have the commonalities.
Right.
And entrepreneurship, you know, I got a small business, but, you know, you find yourself going back to the lonely part.
Yeah.
A lot of everything that you're doing it by yourself.
Yourself.
You know, you're working longer hours.
Because you
Yeah.
don't know nobody else that done it.
Right.
Right?
And you educating yourself at the
That's
same
right.
time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just the labor that you're doing, it's the education that you're
Yeah.
doing. You gotta do your own books.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah. Your own insurance,
you own
But you know,
insurance.
your own taxes.
Right, even if you know somebody, well, they tell you.
That's right.
Because when I came into real estate, man, it's much different now. But when I came into real estate, black people were professional in real estate.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me pass them up. They were like, hey, you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not what we do.
That's right.
This is how you need to do it. Okay, thank you. No one told me that.
Right.
Yeah.
And they gave you information. They shared it with you. They have
They give you a little bit of
everything.
information.
But you have to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I mean, nobody will give you nothing.
Right.
I mean, you can know they do it.
Right.
They be like, yeah. Be like, man, so how you do that website like that? Yeah, you know.
And that's it. No answer. They
No answer. You were like, damn.
Grab
Come
the
on, man.
barrel
Just tell
concept.
me.
Lost it.
Oh.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, so when I say tell someone, it means your dreams and what you're trying to do. You know,
Yeah.
your dreams of they may kill it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But share information.
Yeah.
Right.
I came in. I thank God. If I started real estate now,
Yeah.
I don't know. But if I started years ago and there was information. Everybody gave you information.
Yeah.
They wanted you to win.
Yeah.
They didn't care if you made $10 million. They wanted you to win and keep doing it because it wasn't that many of us anyway. And they want you to be
I got
strong
one
with that.
final question for everybody. We're gonna start this way and go around it. So, you know, we hear that African Americans got the money that they generate and spend is the sixth largest economy in the world, right? So if we as a African American group have all this money, right, that we spend, why aren't we as a group more successful? Why don't we have better HBCUs? Why don't we have more NFL owners, NBA owners? Why don't we have more prominent business people? On and on and on. Because it seems like we are just a class of people that just go spend money, but we not getting nothing in return.
Yes.
Okay, we were talking about this earlier today. Something that my dad used to say, if it's on you, it ain't in the bank, it's not an asset. I mean, if you paying, when it's Gucci, and I'm not saying so, though, that's not a bad thing.
But it is a lot of that.
It's a lot of that, you
Yeah,
know?
that's right.
A lot of glamour, but when you can't pay your rent, it happens though, I mean, so you can't pay your car payment. If it's on your butt and not in the bank, it's not an asset to you, okay? It's best to have it and not need it than need it and don't have it, okay? So I think we need to be more cash conscious of when we're spending. Ask yourself, do I need it
Or do I want it?
or do I want it? It's just that simple. God will provide for you. He's gonna give you what you, but he'll give you, but you have to be a steward, a good steward.
That's right.
Over the funds he entrusted
That's
to
right.
you.
That's right.
Alright, so I think that's what sometimes with us as a race, we overspend.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be,
yeah.
why you got to go buy a Cadillac? Get you a Volkswagen. I mean, get you a Volkswagen.
And get a new cow like every other year.
It don't make any sense
Come
to
on,
me.
Ira, what's your answer?
Man, I really don't have no answer about that, but, you know, I think us as a whole, we still believe that myth that we can't work with each other. And until we get out that myth, and people start pooling their money together, like y'all was talking here today, y'all know what y'all talking about building houses and all that. He been in a lot of stuff. And he always shared his knowledge. As long as I knew him, but this might be a rated thing. 'Cause when we got there as rookies, somebody shared knowledge with us on how to do, how the rate of way is done. This is the rate of way. This is how we gonna do this. This is we gonna educate everybody else that follows behind us. But that's what I think, and a lot of times we got a problem. Everybody trying to keep up with the Joneses.
That's it.
I ain't trying to keep up with nobody. Yeah, I do what I want to do, cause I can do it. But
All right. Yes.
I laugh about that because, or should I say I'm laughing because this is a conversation I have on a regular basis. I'm usually a minority in most of my commercial real estate deals, okay? Most of everybody that I'm dealing with are non-African American. And I think it starts first kind of like touching a little bit on him. His grandmother was a business-minded person and then started kind of a generational wealth kind of situation, right? Unfortunately, we as African Americans, we don't own banks.
Nope.
Right.
We don't own these major corporations.
Right.
We don't own these major manufacturing facilities that we're
Right.
buying the material from and stuff like that.
That's
So,
right.
you know, we are coming from a place of, we're always buying from others as opposed to building, developing, and owning, where now we can empower our own people from the top down. Versus right now, we're trying to build from the bottom up. You know, and until we get to that point as a people where, like Black Wall Street, you know, you had
Greenwood.
you know, Greenwood, like, you know,
Tulsa.
it was a whole community of entrepreneurs, you know, and
working with each other.
they were doing great, you know. It was a self-sustained environment, and we could do that as a country. But unfortunately, it's the, you know, crab in a barrel concept where, you know, we're not gonna let somebody outdo us. But we also have to, like you guys, you're a businessman, businessman. You know, we need to work together. You know, instead, we wanna go out to the white banks, because we don't own any of them.
Right.
You know, we have to go out to the white banks. You know, we have to go to the white manufacturers, you know, like the material that you're buying for your everything. Now we need to try to find people that actually own that. And it's a matter of touching bases and educating ourselves who owns it, and then having enough trust. And here's the problem that we always run into. They say black people are lazy, right? I hate to say it.
I know this country.
I hate to say it,
That's what
but
they say.
we don't take
We
pride
can't
in our
work with
work.
each other.
That's
You know, we don't
That's the
take
stigma.
enough pride in the product or the services that we're delivering that people don't trust us. We have to change that mentality. We have to show up on time. First, show up on time, deliver good product, good service, good customer service, you know, and not always have to be the most expensive. You know, sometimes volume will still get you the same amount of money
Yes.
Or more.
than trying to like make, you know, that one sale that's a well that's gonna make you rich that one time around.
I'm gonna get that lick.
Because referral business is always gonna be the best form of business.
There you go.
So if I take care of you, you're gonna pass it on
To
to
someone else,
someone.
exactly.
I've been doing real estate for several years, and all of my business come by referral. I don't do any marketing, because I believe in providing a good level of service.
Yeah.
So I laugh at it because of the simple fact that it's a mentality. And we just gotta do a better job of just trying to just, you know, work together and trust and do a better job individually.
I've been waiting for this question all my life. All right, so,
So tell us.
One of the major deals, my piece, I feel like I'm a history professor teacher. One of the pieces is we believe a lie. Number one is you believe you're still free, right? So you don't think about saving. You don't think about everything we talked about. We're not really thinking about it. Well, we must do it. Only way that Tulsa, what was it?
Greenwood District.
Yeah, the Greenwood, and it wasn't, that wasn't the only one. It was thousands of them across. Maybe not as large, but thousands of them. They knew that it was not free, truly free in this country, and there was no way. They had to do it. I must buy from you.
Right.
We must do business. We must trust in each other, because outside of us, no one else is going to do it for us. And once all that cleared out to the '60s, and now people are free to move and, you know, around and everything else, they think they are free. They think they're truly free, but they're not. The other portion is my people lack of what? Knowledge.
No, it's education.
You know,
is key.
education, knowledge. We don't want to educate ourselves. And the third one is we separate ourselves. We separate ourselves with organizations, we separate ourselves with education, schools, this, that, and we don't really bring the next man up with us or think of a community-based piece. Most of us, we get ours and we go here, right? That's what I did. I went, and as soon as I was able to buy my house, I went to suburban area.
Me
That's
too.
where I want to live, that's how I want to know.
But you was taught.
You know, I was taught,
Safe
and I didn't have to go,
environment.
then, you know, right, you know, you think about
Move
moving
up.
up and things
Move
as
up.
such, and you think you made it.
Yeah.
I thought I really made it.
Yeah.
You know, until 2008 crash, I was like, I did not make it. You know, I did not make it, and it changed my whole thought process.
Yeah.
Of, okay, I'm gonna start saving more money, I'm gonna start doing this.
Right.
That banker ain't your friend.
No, yeah.
Right.
He has one job.
That's right. Collect
You
that.
keeping your money in that bank, thinking that you got all this money.
That's right.
You're not doing nothing.
Nothing.
You know, but we gotta work together and all, and we are worse. We are our worst enemy.
Yeah.
I don't think no one can stop us.
Okay, I promise, this is my last question. We're gonna start this way.
All right.
It seems as though we are all God-fearing men, we all believe.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanna know why. Start around and come this way.
Mine is it started with my grandfather teaching me to be priest, preacher, all in my house, you know. And then from there, it went to a person. I did it because my family went to church. My grandfather taught me. He had a 5th grade education, but he taught me about God, so it led me to him. But it's not until I had a intimate relationship where I know him for myself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I can tell my testimony real quick is I was driving a car, the brakes went out. I crashed into a bayou, and the car just, it just stopped. And I'm looking down in the bayou, and I see water. I'm probably maybe 3 or 4 feet. Thank God I have my seatbelt on, because I was looking out the window. It crashed, I'm looking at the water, and I tell myself, gather yourself together for a couple of seconds and get out the car. I couldn't finish the sentence. Boom, the car blow up. The hood, all that blows up, the car is on fire. I'm trying to get out the car. I'm trying to get out the car, and I can't understand. I have certain marks on my body now. Can't understand at the time why I can't get out the car. I couldn't break down the windows. I couldn't understand. So I'm decided, so now the dashboard's on fire. I'm kicking the door in, I'm trying. So something in my little mind tells me, get in the back seat. It's a 2-door Grand Pontiac. So get in the back seat and kick the window out. But if I can't kick my driver window out or push it at the door, there's no way I'm gonna get this little window out about this size. So I get halfway in the back seat, and I hear a voice. Don't get in the back seat, you'll die. What? Man, you tripping. You gotta get out this car. I'm panicking. Now, this time I'm halfway in the back seat, you're going to die. So I just sit in the car, let's see. I just call out to Jesus. Help me. Then what did I do? Jesus help me. What my grandfather taught me. And then everything he told me, it just came to me naturally. Then I just sat back, called out for Jesus. Literally, God just picked me up, brought me through the car, laid me softly on the side. So then I get up, I look over, and the whole car, my whole seat, everything's on fire. I start running I start running up the hill. I can get 3 feet from the car and passed out. Doctor, everybody, come to the hospital and everything. And I said, well, this miracle, you got out the car. How you got out? What you mean? I kicked the car in. I broke the window. I go see the car, no window broke. Why I couldn't get out, because both sides of the door was jammed in like that.
Yeah. And
the driver's side was in like this, so I can only get this part of my body in. That's my testimony.
Amen, brother. Wow.
Yeah.
And so I tell my kids, they're like, you went, literally, I seen it. Just brought me through all the metal, the car, I didn't feel nothing, just laid me soft on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that personal relationship piece, is the big
Yeah.
factor.
Wow. Why you believe, bro?
I had people praying for me. My mother was a devout Christian. And I mentioned earlier, growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, the fact that never went to jail, never got shot, never really had any life-threatening situations. And my mother, she was a Jehovah's Witness, so going door to door, nobody messed with my mother. Like everybody, I don't care, you was thugged out, drugged out, whatever the case may be. My mother was able to just walk freely through the neighborhood like it was nothing. And to this day, rest her soul, she was an angel. It was so many things about her and her faith, like the strength in her faith. No money, no problem. I never seen her stress. She was constantly in prayer. And when you witness that and you see just how God took care of her and how she prayed for me, and always miraculously through my life, even today, I don't know how I am where I am today without, prayer and somebody praying for me.
Yeah.
And once you become a believer, and you start learning how to be faithful, how to have faith, and her favorite words, and to this day, live by faith, not by sight.
Yeah, right.
She has always told me that. So you got to always believe, and there's not always going to be an answer.
Right.
So if you're strong in your faith, God's going to take care of you, and you got to believe. And that's why I am.
Myron?
Yeah, basically, I know I had ancestors that left plenty of blessings for not just me, but everybody in my family. But and you learn that by the history of what they telling you. You know, we might not been around great grand people, stuff like that, but they put their work ethic in, and the one thing you say, walk by faith, not by sight. Shoot, that was preached regularly.
Oh, man.
And you ain't believing yourself, but I ask God for forgiveness every day. And hey, and believe that, yeah, He sent His only Son, died on the cross for our sins. I appreciate everything He does, and let Him know that. Because I could have been on the freeway going to New Orleans, and without having my routine checkup and keeping that, shoot, and I could have been driving down the street, been gone, just like that. But as a matter of fact, I had just left from Rockford, Illinois. I've been up there for the Badgers Legends golf tournament. I drove. I stopped. I did stop at his house. In Little Rock.
I made it spend the night.
Yeah. Stopped in Little Rock. I stayed 2-3 days. So I got home. I said, oh man, I gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. Shoot, I sure don't, man. I took my behind and went up in there. And it was just somebody, he said, Rich, said, Mr. Matthews, you know, I ain't seen you because of the pandemic. You know, usually see you twice a year, but, you know, I just don't feel right. Well, I don't have to go through your drum no more to check on your heart or nothing. I can go through your wrist. And he did that, and hey, I appreciate it. And I know one of the reasons, God was looking in my favor. But I mean, I have faith for a long time, and that just instills more faith in you. And, but it comes from my parents and grandparents and all that, you know.
All right, come on. Yeah, man, shoot, I was raised in the church. My grandfather was a Mason. Grandmother was on the mother's board. I'm a Mason. My dad was gambling also, to tell you the truth. He worked hard. It was, in our household, it's like, do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Old
I
school
find myself saying
mentality.
that
So he would make us go to church, he'd be laying in the bed, all on the usher board and all that other stuff, but when it actually hit me, I think I was like 8 or 9 years old, when I was at a church and something made me move, like the experience you had, and I joined church, I was baptized then, I kind of dedicated my life, but as we all do, after we commit our, being baptized doesn't make you saved. You just going in a wet person getting up, but it's your belief that you're changing your faith. And I think it's written in Scripture that Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, okay? But Jesus was also God, Son of God, the Holy Trinity, and all. But what changed me, I've had several different experiences. One was coming back. I was in college, fell asleep behind the wheel. About to hit a pole or hit a bridge, man, that won't be up there. I got out and I walked about 2 miles before I got myself back together. Then again, I had COVID. In the ICU, almost died. And I prayed then and prayed and said, Lord, I'm like, boy, I like this. I want to be a single son, graduate from college. And
Let's make a deal.
You know, that's real, because I was the same way 2 weeks now.
And I just prayed about it, and he delivered me. And certain verses I thought about a sermon that my pastor had about crossing over to the other side. When Jesus was in the boat, so it's crossing over, and they encountered the storm. And Jesus saved him, came to them, and that's why I felt he came. The storm I was in was COVID. The boat was that hospital bed. And I ICU,
By yourself.
by myself,
Man,
away from family and everything,
Man.
So Jesus came to rescue me. So but I've always had faith, but like growing, it's growing. Our faith is tested
All the time.
all the time, you know, so, but he tells them all the time, that's why I try to keep scripture by reading and studying. Greater is he that is within than he that is of the world. So if the Holy Spirit lives in you, it's gonna rest, rule, and abide in you, and it's gonna help you in your decision-making, how you treat your fellow man, how you treat your children, how you treat that homeless person on the corner there, I mean, you know, oh, he's just a scam, you know. I gave because out of the goodness of my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, because he do what he wants.
He
I
do
did
what he want to.
do what he
Yeah.
want to, but-
He's
so,
scamming,
yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just a number. I can just say one thing, that I am who I am because of my mother, Ernestine Johnson. I know that much.
That's right. Amen. Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man.
This has been a great, this
been
might be
great.
the greatest interview I've had. Shit.
A lot of knowledge.
That's
I gotta
right.
keep the podcast.
Yeah, I enjoy myself, really. So that's a reason, they said Vegas is Sin City, but it's not necessarily, so there's some, you know, this is Sodom and Gomorrah, that's, Jesus said it had to be so many people good that they, well, I know this, for 5 or 6 of us here, maybe a safer city, right? A safer city. I'm sure there's more other Christians around here, but.
yeah.
Yeah, this has been great.
It's been
Thank you,
great.
Wonderful. Appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting us, thanks for inviting us.
You got it.
Frank,
So
Frank.
we gonna let y'all know what
My
time,
boy.
and then we can run it whenever we want, so,
Okay.
yeah, so you,
I can have it ready for after the Pro Bowl tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
yeah,
like
that's
that?
cool.
That's gonna be too fast for y'all? Y'all gonna be at the game?
Yeah, we gonna be at the
Yeah,
game.
well, I'm not leaving until Monday morning.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm leaving Tuesday.
Yeah.
He'll be sleeping. My flight leaves at 5:30. I'm gonna leave it right
Mine's
there.
at 6.
I'm gonna leave it right there. You right there, boy?
Yeah.
I pick
Me.
you up Monday. You
Yeah.
right there? Will you both y'all do?
Yeah, I think he and I might be on the same flight.
Okay, well, I so you might pick you
Yeah,
up.
man.
I'll leave about 4, I guess, and I can pick both of y'all up. I got to drop the rental car too, so we got to get no Uber.
Y'all better check y'all flights.
Yeah. And I think mine's is
Check it right
6:30.